So we've all been seeing AI pop up in our design tools, right? Making things faster, a little easier. But what if the real story, the real revolution, isn't about our tools at all? Today, we're digging into how AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is poised to completely change the very structure of the design world. We're talking teams, agencies, careers, the whole shebang. So let's get into what this all really means. See, this is so much bigger than just speeding up a workflow. This is about rewriting the definition of what a designer even is, where they do their work, and what an organization even means anymore. It feels like the entire ecosystem is kind of up for grabs. So how do we wrap our heads around this? Well, we're going to walk through the three classic pillars of the design industry. You've got your in-house teams, your agencies, and of course, freelancers. And we'll see how every single one is about to go through a massive, radical transformation. All right, first up, in-house teams. You know, the designers working inside the big companies, the ones who are the guardians of the brand. For them, the ground is seriously about to shake. For decades, in-house design teams were, let's be honest, basically internal service departments. Their job was to execute. But in this new world, they morph into something totally different, a decision cell. Think of it as a small, super strategic team that's all about guiding the AI, not doing the grunt work. And this makes perfect sense, right? If an AI can spin up and test 100 different design options in, like, 5 minutes, your value as a human isn't in pushing the pixels anymore. It's in the strategy, it's in the curation, the selection, and really, the judgment. That's the new human value. So this is what that new team starts to look like. It's not just a room full of graphic designers anymore. You've got these new kinds of roles because the job itself has changed. You'll need AI orchestrators to actually direct the machines, data analysts to figure out what all the outputs mean, and brand strategists to make sure that everything the AI spits out still has a soul. I love this conductor metaphor. It's just so perfect. The designer isn't playing the violin anymore. They're conducting this incredible, complex symphony of AI systems, marketing data, and business goals. Their main job becomes defining what good actually is, and then teaching the AI how to get there. Okay, so if in-house designers become conductors, what happens when the entire orchestra is an AI? Well, that brings us to our second pillar, the classic design agency. And let me tell you, their entire business model is being rewritten from the ground up. Agencies have always sold one thing: hours. Billable hours for creative work and production. But when a client's own AGI can do the production work instantly, that whole model just breaks. So the new model isn't about being a service provider, it's about becoming a knowledge network. You're not selling the labor, you're selling the intelligence. This is the key. The product itself changes. An agency isn't selling a logo anymore. No. They're selling the system that lets an AI think like the client's brand. They build the guardrails, the taste, the logic that lets the AI generate perfectly on-brand work, at scale, every single time. Let's make this really concrete. The old way, an agency gives you a 100-page brand guidelines PDF. The new way, the agency delivers a perfectly curated data set to train your AI on your brand's unique visual DNA. They build the feedback loops and the rules that teach that AI how to make smart choices. It's a total shift from delivering a thing to delivering the system that makes the thing. And here it is, the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? The skills that made agencies famous for 50 years, amazing art direction, lightning-fast production, those just aren't the skills that are going to cut it in this new world. This right here is the new toolkit. It's way less about being a Photoshop wizard and way more about understanding system architecture. Agencies are going to need people who can structure data, who are masters of prompt engineering, and who just think more like an engineer. And let's be blunt, agencies that don't build these skills aren't just going to struggle. They're going to go extinct. Okay, so in-house teams are shrinking and getting strategic. Agencies are completely rebuilding. What about the individual creative, the freelancer? Well, for them, AGI isn't the threat. It's the ultimate superpower. Yeah, that whole idea of the lone freelancer working away, it's kind of fading. Armed with a bunch of AI agents, a single person can now operate like a full-service micro-agency. They can handle strategy, design, even coding and marketing, all by themselves. This phrase just nails it. A freelancer could be sitting alone in their home office, but they're commanding this huge, scalable team of AI specialists to bring their vision to life. They basically become the creative director of a totally digital workforce. And this just completely changes the workflow. Look at these steps. Notice what's missing? Yeah, all those endless hours of actually making stuff, of pushing pixels around. The value has moved. It's all in that upfront strategic thinking, the masterful orchestration of the AI, and that final critical layer of human taste and curation. So freelancers stop being just a pair of hands you rent by the hour. They become these indispensable strategic partners. They're valued not for their time, but for their vision, their taste, and their unique ability to look at a business problem and translate it into an AI-powered solution. So we've seen how things are changing in-house, at agencies, and for freelancers. Now let's just zoom out for a second and look at the new interconnected ecosystem that's starting to emerge from all this chaos. The lines are just blurring everywhere. The idea of being just an agency person or just an in-house designer is starting to feel really old-fashioned. Instead, careers are becoming way more fluid. They're defined by a portfolio of outcomes you've created, not by the logo on your business card. So let's just recap it all. In-house teams, they get smaller, but way more strategic. Agencies, they get leaner, but they start selling high-value intelligence instead of just labor. And freelancers, they become these powerful individual nodes, all connected through these massive digital networks. And this is really the core idea of this whole thing. Those rigid, old-school corporate structures, they matter less and less. What really matters now is the fluid network of relationships, the connections between strategists, AI systems, data, and culture. Your workplace isn't a building anymore, it's the ecosystem that you operate inside of. Look, this is not a doom and gloom story about designers being replaced. It's a story about them being elevated. With all the manual labor of design being automated, we humans are finally free to focus on the stuff that AI can't touch. The strategy, the empathy, the heart, and the mind that has to be behind all the work. And that's really where this all lands. The questions that are going to define your career in design are changing. It's not going to be about your job title or what company you work for. It's going to be about your ability to define the right problems to solve and your vision to orchestrate all the tools at your disposal, both human and artificial, to create something that's actually meaningful. That right there is the new frontier of design.